All your favorite radio hosts, only radio host and favorite girl of us, broadcasting to you from the lovely island of Trinidad and Tobago in the Caribbean on Between the Lines. And you know, with here Between the Lines, always with gratitude. Grateful to be here once again to bring you another episode of my wonderful show that you know you love. Of course, you love me, but you love my show and the guests on my show. And I have, is it Mayim or Mayim? How do you pronounce it?
Mayim.
Mayim? Yes. Right. I see I'm getting cut out. I don't know why. The internet is clearly not liking me today, but we're going to push through nevertheless. So Mayim. So we have Mayim Vega. It sounds kind of Spanish, sort of everything in one. I don't know why. We need to explain that. So we have Mayim on the line. Yes. And we're talking about holistic health and healing. Okay, and we need it. We needed people. Let me tell you a bit about Mayim. She became a naturopathic herbalist and health coach to take charge of her family's health when the modern medical system kept failing her. Don't they? My goodness. She founded aruka.com, as you can see on the screen, the Holistic Life Academy, because she saw an incredible lack of holistic health and healing knowledge, not only in the common person, such as a mother trying to raise 3 children like she once was, but even in health professionals. Welcome, Mayim, to Between the Lines.
Thank you. Thank you so much for having me. I was listening to your podcast, and you've got some interesting interviews, and I love your answers. And I was like, oh, I love her. I want to talk to her. I want to be on her podcast. I love your outlook.
Frozen. Why are you frozen?
Oh, I'm frozen. Oh no. Both of us have bad internet connection, don't we? Hello?
I see we are frozen there for a second. Don't go, don't go. This has happened. Let me switch and see if
Yeah, you're kind of cutting out, in and out. So but
yeah. So we're back. So let's see if this would work. Yes, you said you were listening to my podcast. Yes.
Yeah, I was listening to. I listened to 2 of them. The one where you were interviewing the fiction novelist who was talking about the dystopian future where, we're going to be able to edit our genes, and you were like, remember that?
Yeah. Of course, I remember that. I was like, oh hell no. Oh hell no.
Yeah. And I you know what, I have a vision for the future also, and it's
Let me hear it. Let me hear it, Mayim.
Yeah, it's completely opposite from his view. He wants Yeah, he wants. I don't think he wants it, but according to what he was saying, he was like, "This is going to happen. I'm just preparing people for it." And I think that that is a normal thing to think if you don't believe in God, if you don't believe in the Creator. But if you
That's
do believe in God,
that's where
yeah,
I was coming from, ma'am. That's where I was coming from. Don't interfere with what God created. Okay?
yes,
And just to interrupt you there for a second, when you started talking about your vision for the future, because that was his vision, or what he says will
yeah,
happen, and he's preparing people for it.
right.
I thought of the so-called vaccine. And I don't want to make this about the vaccine, but I thought of that whole alteration. And I'm like, oh, they have started.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But yeah,
What's your
I don't want to talk about the vaccines too much because if I talk about the vaccines, then I can't promote this as much. But I think I believe we're on the same wavelength.
yeah,
I think we're on the
yeah,
same exact page. So I'm very honored to be here. You know,
yes.
I think we're both, on the Lord's side,
Oh,
trying to
yes.
do His
There's
work.
no other side to be made. Is there
It's,
another side?
it's the only side that will last forever. It's the only
Thank you
side
very much.
that will be eternal.
Well,
That's
that's the
right.
only side I know. I,
That's true.
it
Right.
come like when people say the only ice cream is chocolate. That's the only thing. Nothing else exists as far as they care. You
There's
know.
only God.
So I
That's
am
right.
like, yeah, I don't know anything else. This is what I know, and that is what I'm sticking
Yeah.
with.
And
So, yeah.
right. Well, okay, so I okay, there's another visionary. There was another visionary. He was a famous inventor and he lived not too
Mhm.
long ago. His name is Thomas Edison and he's the inventor of the light bulb, right?
Really? I never heard of him, ma'am.
He invented the light bulb. Every all of us use. He is a famous inventor, right? And I don't know, you're
Mhm.
probably being sarcastic, I'm not sure, but anyway, he said this. He said this. He said the doctor of the future will give no medicine but will interest his patients in the care of the human frame, in diet, and in the cause and prevention of disease. That's the future that I believe that we are going to. We are going to into the future that
Mhm.
is not about manipulation and domination and control, but it's
Yeah.
about working with creation and working with, they want to improve on God's design, but we're
Mhm.
already perfect as He
As
made us.
is.
And
As
our
is.
DNA, they want to edit it, but it's like editing perfection. It's like gilding the lily. It's already beautiful. It's already perfect as it is. Why do you have to make it better? And here's the problem. I mean, I wanted to talk about my academy, but maybe I could squeeze that in. But I really want to talk
Don't
about
worry
God.
about it. Keep going. We're going to talk about it.
Here's the problem with what he's saying, and this is why we have to, like you said, we have to fight against it because
Yeah.
we're God's warriors.
Yeah.
We have to fight it because of this. Everything always sounds good. It sounds good, and we're going to make it better. We're going to stop disease. But what are the consequences of that? And we
Yeah.
already know what the consequences of that are because we have a taste of it in our society
Mhm.
right now. If people could live forever, we're going to think, oh, because I can live forever, there's not going to be enough room for new people, for new
Yeah.
babies. When
Yeah.
people start overcrowding this earth, we're not going to want new life to come. And the people that
Wow.
are good, that are here, they're not going to want to continue on in the cycle. There will be no more variety. We're given this idea of what is beautiful and what is perfect, and then everybody's going to look the same, whatever the trends are. If we can edit how we look, then we're going to be it's going to be, this world is going to be boring. And you know what the only cause of death will be when we will no longer naturally die?
Oh
Suicide
my.
will be the only cause of death. And yes,
Yeah.
it's going to happen because it happens right now.
Yeah.
There's more suicide in westernized, industrialized, so-called rich countries than
Mhm.
there are in the poor countries. Why?
Yeah.
Because the people that have so-called everything, they don't have what.
What really matters?
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah. I've heard people who had to struggle to get to where they are. They've become wealthy and all of that. And they always look back on the things that when they were not, when they were poor, let's call it that, and they were lacking, and the sort of close-knit family, the relationships. They talk about the one room that all of them slept in, the one plate that everybody ate from. It brought closeness, love, unity,
Love.
brotherhood, sisterhood. And you talk about perfection. It is amazing to me how life is created. Don't matter how much science, how much brain work goes into it, how much education people get, they still cannot figure out how we are knitted so intricately in the womb of a woman.
Yes.
Intricately,
Yes. Yeah.
that is such an amazing thing for me.
Yes.
Intricately, everything is knitted perfectly to
Yes.
form what you see here on the screen today. Okay,
Yes.
to form us, to give us life, and for us to come out as a whole being and have a life. For
Yeah.
every organ, every cell, everything in your body to work together as a team. If you want to see teamwork, look at your body.
Yeah.
Okay, understand the body to understand teamwork. The lungs, the heart, the liver, everybody in there is working together, have respect for
Yeah.
each other, and understand how to work. God has created everything around us to feed us, the plants, the animals, to nurture us. Because I won't come to the holistic healing and health because I believe in it. I am not one for medication. I tell doctors I don't like them. I have to go to them, yes. But once you tell me what a diagnosis is, I do my own diagnosis too, I mind you. Thank God for
Yes.
Google. And I do my
Exactly.
own doctorate. And I go to the
Yep.
doctors, and not because I thought about it this morning, Mayim. I'm like, hold up. I think spiritually that came to me. Probably because I'm going to be talking to you. I don't know. I didn't make the connection at the time. And I'm like, a doctor is nothing. No, what is a doctor? A doctor just has a certification that I don't have. I have a degree too. You have a degree. It's just your degree says something different to mine. But we are both intelligent people. I can read. I could understand. What makes you feel just because you wear a white coat or you could operate or whatever means to say, I can't figure out my own situation? Because they
Right.
certainly can't figure it out. And I have to work together,
Yes.
go to them with information and say, listen, this is what is happening to me. This is what I have. I've read up, I've did. I know doctors nowadays don't like Google. They're like, everybody reads up on Google and everybody thinks they're a doctor. But I am reading up. And why am I doing that? Because I don't want to be on your meds. I want you to
Yes.
help me to figure out what this thing is. So I think the whole thing
Yeah.
about Western medicine and doctors need to, as I say, pivot. Understand your
Yeah.
role in society now. When long ago it used to be this high esteem status thing, I'm a doctor, I'm wearing a white coat. Now you need to work with people to understand the
Yeah.
conditions that they have and help them to use natural methods together, probably with the Western medicine, a combination, but use what is there because people want to be healthier. People probably want to live longer, not necessarily forever, but work with them to understand what is going on. Because
Yes.
when I get a diagnosis, I dig, I read, I research, I understand, I know what's going on in my body. And I'm like, no, I want to use a natural stuff. So
Hmm.
come in here now, Mayim. I see you smiling and nodding your head in agreement with what I'm
Yes.
saying.
Well, yeah. Well, so I just want to say that I have doctors and nurses that are learning from our
Mhm.
school at aruka.com. And, what they tell me, we don't learn true health and healing in medical school. I have
Ah,
nurses also and medical technicians. They learn pathology, they learn how to diagnose, and then they learn drugs to mask the symptoms. They don't learn how to diagnose.
exactly.
And then you know what else? They're not allowed to learn it. They are not allowed like in
Exactly.
medical school, they're warned not to go there. Their license are threatened to be taken away if they venture
Yeah.
into that,
Yeah.
not because it doesn't bring health and healing, but because if they knew if they knew the things that we teach at our school, the naturopathic herbalism
Yeah.
and the health
Of
coaching, if
course.
they knew those things, the pharmaceutical industry would crumble. That's why medical
Yeah.
doctors are not allowed to learn these things. And that's why if you find a holistic medical doctor, they're very rare. First of all, they're very rare. And that's something that, I help people do is I help them to find a
Mm-hmm.
holistic medical doctor in their area. It's very rare though. And when you do
Mm-hmm.
find it, the
Mm-hmm.
reason why they're holistic is because they studied on their own, not because of medical school. Medical school
Of
did
course
not
not.
teach them. No, medical
Yeah,
school did
of
not teach them
course.
how to be holistic and how to be healthy and heal people. They had to learn that on their own. Now you mentioned Google, and I think Google is I think Google has become very bad for holistic healers because Google started banning search engines.
Oh.
They started banning websites that
Mm-hmm.
provide holistic health and healing. The top healers are banned
Really?
from Google. Yes. So actually, one of the things that we've done is we've made our own search engine that searches only the holistic websites that I know about and that I trust about. And if you you have to go to search.aruka.com,
Mm-hmm.
search.arukah.com, and it will
I'm going to
show
try
you
that now. Hold on. I am going to try that right now.
search.aruka.com. That's the word search and then dot and then arukah.com. And I
Yeah.
only that search engine will only search websites that I know that are holistic. So if you know of any websites that are good, you please tell me and I can add it to that list. Whereas the Google does the opposite. The websites that I'm including, they
Mm-hmm.
probably have blocked most of them. Okay.
Yeah, that.
So um, it's a
Let me
very
check. Do
sad
I have the
state.
right thing up? Yeah.
That's it. Yeah, that's
Search
it.
at a. Yeah.
Search.aruka.com. So it's our very own
Wow.
custom search engine. And
Wow.
this isn't the only tool I use, but this is one of the tools I use because I have found, when I go to Google, I'll go to Google, like you said, for diagnosis or to look
Mm-hmm.
up the side effects of medical drugs. And that's something that people really need to do. If they're on any kind of medication, they need to learn, they need to know what it's doing to them. There's
Mm-hmm.
people that they're complaining of various diseases, and then, and then if I teach them about various holistic methods, they're like, well, it's not working, I'm doing everything, it's not working. And I say, well then if it's not working, what medications are you taking? And then
Ah.
sure enough, it's usually all the side effects of the medications. That is what they're experiencing. You can't take an herb and a vitamin to heal you while you're taking a pharmaceutical drug, at the same time, which is hurting you. You know what I mean? You can't do that. You just can't do that. That's like inviting, a financial investor to come help you while allowing a thief to come rob you at the same time. You know what I mean? It's
The two of
ridiculous.
them at the same time. The two of them at the same time. So,
Yeah.
so persons are moving. I know slowly but surely into a healthier, more holistic lifestyle. People, and especially over the past 2 years where they were in isolation, I think people, not a lot, but probably some people have started a journey of spending time on themselves and looking at different ways. And of course, the pressure was on to avoid hospitals. So people
Yeah.
had no choice but to take better care of themselves, how they eat, what they eat, because even the restaurants were closed, so they had to cook. So they were forced to cook. And so,
No, yeah, which is healthier, which is gonna make people,
right,
can
right,
be, it can be,
right.
unless you're
So
doing the
stay
junk
away
food
from the
at home.
hospitals, right? Stay away from the hospitals, learn to cook, prepare a meal for the family, eat together, which also is holistic healing
Yes.
because you're eating together with communally, yeah? And that
Yeah.
brings love and discussion and pouring
Yes.
yourself out. And yes, bring back those days, of lunch, eating lunch together, dinner, whatever it is, snacks, whatever. You
Yeah.
know,
Love,
the
joy are healing.
Oh, yes.
Yes.
Even though they
Mhm.
spent more time on the computer because everything was online, I mean,
There's
they
that.
had to find ways. They had to find ways of coming together and sharing and being communal.
Hmm.
But I wanna throw myself into the mix here. So, for example, the doctors have said to me that I have hypertension, high blood
Hmm.
pressure, and that type of thing. No, they have given me the first medication I started on, which I don't like. I said, okay, I'll try it. My heart was pumping out my chest, like the cartoon. When you watch a cartoon and he's in love and his heart is out of his chest, that's
Yeah.
what was happening to me. I went back the other day and I said, this is what's happening to me. I can't take that. They give me something else. Now what's happening? Headache. I am having dizziness. I have a dry cough. I feel like I'm not myself. I can't focus.
Yeah.
I'm out of it. most of the time. And I'm like, listen to me, listen to me. I am not going to be spending the rest of my life like this.
Yeah.
When my brain, I could actually feel my brain being taken over, like under siege. My whole
Mm-hmm.
body is not mine. It's like I have no, I said, no way.
Mm-hmm.
I was on my potassium before because I take my potassium supplements and I know potassium is very good for high blood pressure. And I said, you know what? We have coconut water naturally here.
Mm-hmm.
Coconut water is high in potassiam.
Where
I
are
even
you?
spoke to a friend in Trinidad and Tobago. I'm in the Caribbean. So we have coconut trees everywhere. And
Yeah.
okay. And so I could get that. And I read up on coconut water and it says for every 8 ounce glass, there's 500 milligrams of potassium in that thing.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Okay, so if I have a couple glasses or one coconut, just one, I would be good for the day.
Yeah.
Okay, but a friend is telling me a doctor said to her, "Don't drink too much coconut water. It's not good." I said, "Excuse me, the coconut water that's coming from the land, God given, natural. He's telling you not to drink it because he wants you to take the medication, man. He wants you to take the medication. That's what
Yep.
he knows. He has been what you call that now?
Brainwashed. He's been brainwashed.
Yes.
It's propaganda. How many people have died from coconut water?
Well, I was just thinking that. I
I
was
don't know
just
a
thinking
single
that.
person.
Do the
And all
research,
those
ma'am.
drugs,
Do
all
the
those drugs,
research.
all those drugs that you can clearly see the side effects of the drugs. I don't
Ma'am, do a research to see how many people died from coconut water and come back on the
exactly.
show and tell me. I would
That's a
love
very
to.
that's a very unscientific statement that doctor just said. You know what I mean?
I
And
want to know who
what
died
kind
from
of
coconut
science is
water.
that?
I
Right?
have been drinking coconut water as from a child, first thing in the morning, with the jelly,
Yes,
chopped
every
down
day
coconut every
in the
day.
Philippines. In the Philippines, every day. Yeah. It's healthier than tap water. At least in certain places, tap
Of
water,
course,
it's got the
of
fluoride.
course.
It has traces of antibiotics and other pharmaceutical drugs.
It's the one water that goes straight to your heart. It's heart healthy. So what you're telling me? Mm?
Yeah.
Listen here, ma'am. Look, anyhow, coming back to my story, what would you tell? Because a lot of people I find have hypertension. And I am like, instead of them focusing on what is causing the hypertension, you are looking to give me something to mask it, like you say, and give me side effects. I
Yeah.
want to know what it is that's blocking the arteries or making my heart have to work harder. Is it menopause? Is it what is it? Is
Yes.
it what that is causing it? So I could address it. But you're
Yep.
not doing that. You're pumping me with medication. And then when I say I'm not taking it, you're vexed. No, I have to do what is best for me.
Yes, absolutely. And and here's the thing is doctors, they always want to give you like one drug to solve your problem, but that's not the holistic approach. The holistic
Mm,
approach means you take the whole thing into consideration.
that's
You take
right.
in you take in your diet, you take in your individual, your individual DNA, your makeup, your
That's
heritage, your
right.
culture. What is your diet like? What is your environment like?
Yes.
What is your what is your
Your
stress?
work life, your whole work life. What do you
It's
do on a
yeah,
normal basis? Are you a parent? Is it hectic? What?
yes, it's not just one thing. So I'm going to contact you after this specifically about the high blood pressure and give you some resources so that you can start beginning your journey, because the holistic approach isn't, oh, take this one thing. It's, understand there's many things. It took you years to get high blood pressure.
I
It took you
say I
it,
never
it
had it before.
Exactly. It takes you years to get sick, and there are many factors that cause it. The same thing with cancer, same thing with
Mm.
migraines, which is my story. That's how I, became a holistic healer. Is I had terrible migraines, and so I can tell you,
That too is another situation. What is causing a migraine? Because
yes,
a migraine is blockage of the blood vessels, and it's creating pressure in your head. So if it seems synonymous to me with the high blood pressure and the headaches, there is
yes,
something that is, I don't know, something that's going on internally. I mean, I know I need to exercise. I need to exercise more. I need to get more physically fit, which will help.
hmm
My diet
hmm
is I don't eat meat. I'm vegan.
Mhm.
I don't know. you
Yeah.
know so that's my situation, and a lot of people just, and I think what happens, ma'am, is that people are so frustrated, they want the quick way. Just give me
Yes, they do.
something. Yeah, they don't want, you see, like me, I dig, I research, I go and read, I ask people, I go on YouTube, I look, because it's one body I have. This perfect body given to me is my temple. I have to take care of it. And I'm not going to put any and anything into it or even surround myself
Yes.
with
Mhm.
any and anything. And that includes people, environments. So it doesn't matter what it is. I am
Mhm.
not putting myself, because we are talking holistic, I'm not doing it. And a doctor is not going to take the time. When you go into a doctor's office, it's like 5 minutes. It's like he has plenty other patients to see, and it's like in and out the door. You
Yeah.
know, they're not spending the time with you. Collect your
Mhm.
money, you move on, come back in the next few weeks, follow up, take more medication, get a refill, whatever.
Try a different medication, or take two medications and then three, because each time you complain about something, they just stack on the medication. Where the holistic
Because one
approach
have a,
is,
you have to deal with the side effects. So
yeah,
something has to counteract the side effect, and something has to counteract the side effect for the side effect.
yes,
It's
and then
like,
yeah, exactly. That's not the
it's,
way. The
no, it's a
holistic
vicious
approach is,
cycle.
let's rebuild. Let's rebuild. Where are you lacking? Let's look at each area of your life. Each
Yeah.
nutritional deficiency that you could be lacking, because there are many. It's multifaceted. So,
Yeah.
anyways, we're coming up on half an hour.
Yes.
So I wanted to maybe just close and just introduce my school a little bit,
Of
if that's okay.
course.
So
Tell me
at
the
Aruka,
website. Is it aruka.com?
yes, it's just aruka.com, and we train people to become healers of their home and their community, and build profitable health coaching online businesses. But it starts with yourself. It's just like me. It started with myself. Before I could be a health coach training medical doctors and nurses, I had to heal myself first. And it's funny because the doctors, there's I know cancer doctors who, when they get cancer themselves, they didn't take their own medication. When they got
Mm-hmm.
cancer themselves, that's when they started. They realized that all the drugs and the chemotherapy and the radiation that they've been giving to their own patients, it didn't really have a good outcome. So when they themselves get cancer, they do something else. Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Isn't that
Yeah.
wild?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that's what we do, is we train people how to be their own doctor and how to heal themselves, their family, and then
Mm.
also their community. And I believe that this kind of education, it's something that everyone should have received either in high school or college. This should be fundamental basic learning, of how to be healthy and how to heal yourself. But this is we're talking about the future. This is the future that I envision, that everyone will be
Yes.
knowledgeable. Everyone will be knowledgeable. There's a legend. There's a Jewish legend, though. However, there's a legend that says that God once gave us a book of herbalism and healing, so that we could look up any disease. It's just a legend. I'm not saying it's true, but then He took the book away because we started kind of like idolizing the book, and we started looking only to the herbs for healing, and neglecting our
Him.
relationship, our connection to
Yeah.
Him. So,
Ah, boy.
it has to be not just, not just the physical, the herbs and the vitamins and the diet, but we also have to also look, inwards. And that's the complete holistic approach when we look at everything.
That's the
So I'm going to,
beginning and the end. That's the beginning and the end. And just
yes,
this morning, I heard that I was doing my praise and worship, and one of the pastors was saying that when we get what we want, we forget God. When we get what we want, we forget God. And here you are repeating the same thing and giving confirmation. It is not to forget, because there will come another time where we will want Him to help us again. And, but He doesn't forget us. But, He's a father. And just like any other parent, most of us are parents. If our children keep forgetting to come back and say thank you, or, I love you, or I appreciate you, and every time you keep coming back to us and you forget, there'll be consequences to that. There'll be consequences. So He is a father just like anyone else. He is
yes.
a father
Mhm.
like anyone else, and the greatest father ever. So just think of your regular physical earthly parents, and he's
And
he's our
also,
supernatural parent. Yeah.
and he's also the great physician. He's also the
Oh
great physician.
yes.
I just wanted to talk about my healing story real quick. Is,
Mm-hmm.
I got, I thought I was going to die. I was having such terrible migraines. I went to the
Wow.
emergency room, and then I spent $4,000 that day on the emergency. They gave me a
Jeez.
CT scan to see if I have a tumor. And they're like,
Yeah.
at the end of the, in the middle of the night, I spent like maybe 8 hours in the hospital. And at the end, they said,
Jeez.
"Oh, we can't find anything wrong with you. There's nothing
Yeah.
wrong with you. You just have a bad headache." And I'm like, really? Like medical doctors spend 150 to $400,000 on their
Mhm.
medical school education, and you can't tell me what's wrong with me. And that's when I
Yeah.
started my journey. And you know what I
Yeah.
found out? This is what I found out. And there's many. So I don't like to, what I'm about to say, I don't want to say, oh, if you take this one herb or one
Yeah.
vitamin, you're going to be healed. It's not like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
for me, my situation when I had migraines, I discovered through my studies that I was deficient in B12. Okay. And so when I took B12, the migraines stopped. But then the
Mm.
question is, why was I deficient in B12? And for
Mm-hmm.
my story, there was two things. Okay. Number one, I was vegan. And because I was vegan, I was deficient in B12 because in
Mm-hmm.
my diet, vegans have to supplement B12 if they're not taking it, because it's very hard for a vegan to get B12 in their
I
natural diet.
don't take B12. Do you know I could have taken B12 very well before? And in how much years ago I started to break out into hives? And I realized no matter what. And then when I read up on it, I even took the organic B12. I bought a bottle, spent my money and bought B12 because I know I need B12, especially as you get older. And I was good all along, taking the thing, switch from the regular to the organic, and I'm breaking out into hives. And I said, something is wrong. Because when I do the process of elimination, I know it had to be B12. When I go online, I realize there's something, one of the B's I'm allergic to. One of the B's. And I'm
Or
like,
or that brand, the way they process the vitamin, it could be that
I
also.
don't
There's
think so. I
no.
just, like the other
Well,
day, I blended beet. I do my celery juice every morning. I'm good. I was out of celery. I had beet in the fridge. I said, I'll do some beet until I go out to the supermarket and get some celery. Mayim, I blend the beet. I didn't juice it. I blend everything so it's because I have a ninja bullet. I looked at it, I pray and everything first, and I said, but somehow my spirit was like, I don't want that thing in my body. I don't want it in my body. But I said, I don't have the celery. So let me drink the beet until I get the celery. Ma'am, I drink the beet. The first mouthful, I was like, mm. Before I could swallow the second mouthful, everything came right back up
mm,
in a vicious way.
mm-hmm,
It didn't even hit my stomach to say settle. I just drank the first one. I was
mm-hmm.
about to swallow the second one. And I was like, oh, everything. I said, you see this? Clearly, my body is not about beat. it's not, it's not about beat. So as you do things, you discover. And how I know too, I remember going to a juicing place, a juice bar, and I had beet. A friend bought me beet juice. And I
Mm-hmm,
don't really drink beet every day. But I
mm-hmm,
know I used to drink beet before. Not regularly, but I could have tolerated beet. And all of a sudden, it just don't want beet.
mm-hmm,
But the celery juice, anything green, I'm good.
mm-hmm.
Anything green, it loves it.
Yeah.
Spinach, kale, cucumber, lettuce, it loves green. And I know it because my cells talk to me. People might find I sound crazy. I don't care. My cells talk to me and says, I need this. I need it. I just have a
Yes.
craving for it.
Yes, and well, it's very good that you're sensitive to your body. That's really what these symptoms are about. When we have
Mm,
an ache or a pain or a headache or a runny nose or something, that's your body talking to you. So
of course. Of
don't try
course.
to silence it. Don't try to silence it with medication. Figure out what
I
it's
like
saying.
that.
You know what I
Don't
mean? And
silence it with
heal.
medication because you shut it up.
Yes.
And I
Yes.
don't want to shut it
Shut up.
up.
Yeah. Exactly.
Shut up. Because
It's a
when I took
blessing.
that,
It's a blessing.
yes, and that is what I tell people in the hospital. When you get pain, be thankful. It's your body saying to you, it's communicating to you, something is wrong, and it's telling you, I need your you to pay attention to this. I need you to pay attention to that. Yeah,
Mhm.
this is awesome. This is awesome, ma'am. I love it. We need to have follow-ups and a session about this thing.
I
And
would
to
love
educate. Yes, yes. We need to educate people. We're on the cusp of 2022 and we can't have our people, moving into this whole medicine. And let me tell you how I know more Western medicine is popping up. Every few meters I walk, there is a pharmacy.
to.
Every few meters. I don't need to do a scientific research. I see it. I'm like, there was one pharmacy and now there are five. It's a sick society being perpetuated in order to
Yes.
sell drugs. I
Yes,
don't see
they
any
are
herbal.
legal. They're
I don't see.
legalized drug dealers. That's what they are.
I don't see any herbal people setting up stores to say, "Come, let us do therapy and yoga and meditation and you know and eating healthy and juice bars and finding out and talking to people." Because let me tell you something. I remember going to my doctor sometime, and the doctor said to me, they know people come to them just to talk because they don't have anybody to talk to.
Mhm.
And so, because you need to leave with a prescription, they might just say, "Want me to write up something for you?" And they write up some. But but
Yes,
you just
yes,
want to air,
yes.
you just want to vent. That's part
Hmm.
of the holistic. And in the whole pandemic, we didn't have people to talk to. We were isolated, and it caused a whole uprise of depression and mental health. And
Yeah.
come
Hmm.
on, I want to see an increase of more holistic health stores or institutions being set up as opposed to pharmacies.
Hmm.
I don't want to see that.
Oh, I want to see more farms and
Oh
gardens.
gosh.
That kind of thing.
Yes.
Stop relying on stores, but grow our own food and
Grown
that kind of thing.
food. I love that. I love that. It's just because I don't have the space, ma'am. But I love a green garden. My herbs, I love smelling this thing, waking up and picking from it and just chewing it like that. I love it. I love from farm to table, going shopping in like a farmer's market and just
Hmm.
picking up dirty fruits and and grown provisions with all the sand and the mud, and you're like, yes, this is from the earth. You feel so connected and grounded, and when you cook that thing, you actually taste the earth in your mouth. it
Hmm.
is just it is so different. It is so different. I just Girl, we share the vision. We have to work on this. Ma'am, we went over time, but we have to work on this. We have to
Okay.
turn this thing around. We can't have our people dying, like flies, and just giving in to the quick fixes that really shortening their life more than anything else.
Hmm. Hmm.
Yeah.
Oh wait, one more thing. I just want to end my story about my migraines. So
Yes.
it wasn't just the veganism, it was also high stress. I was too worried. I was too worried about life, about my situation, having a new baby, having a new business. I was just too stressed out. So that coupled with the vegan diet, it was just too much for my body. But that's where it comes full circle, right? There's the vitamin, but then there's the diet, and then
Yeah.
there's also the mindset. I had to trust in God more. And it
That's
was
it.
these,
But he told you that. Fear
yes,
not. Be anxious for nothing.
yes,
Nothing. Nothing.
yeah,
Your God is bigger than whatever you see with your eyes.
exactly.
Stop
That was,
worrying. It's not helping you. It doesn't give
mhm,
you more money in your pocket, it gives you more stress.
yeah,
Yeah. But this has been good, ma'am. It's been great. Even though we went over time, I think the discussion is valuable to others. We talked a whole lot of things. We touched
yeah.
on a lot of stuff. And we have to do a follow up. I think what I will arrange with you is a sort of live discussion. I want to have a live discussion about the vision, just like how we were talking about comparing to the guest. And probably I might invite him on so that we could have a little tango. Yes. We could have a little tango of his vision and
Okay.
why he thinks that is so, and your vision and my vision. And yes, and let's
All
have it out.
right. Yeah, that would be fun. Yeah,
Yeah.
sure.
Let's have it out. Let's see. Let's see. We might be able to benefit from that vision, but our children and our children's children may be able to see that vision. Yeah.
Yeah.
So let's work on that.
So much to talk about.
So much to talk about. But Mayim, thank you so much for being on Between the Lines. It's been a pleasure having you.
Nice meeting you online.